So literally as I do this video, it's literally been announced that Theresa May has done a deal with the DUP to basically, she's bribed them essentially with about £1 billion. This is absolutely flabbergasting because now I've talked at length on this channel before about how one of the only really good Conservative policies of recent years has been the idea of the Northern Powerhouse. The idea that basically the North has been completely ignored. Completely. To a point where we have just terrible infrastructure. There should be train lines, obvious train lines laid down. Like the best example is, Leith to Manchester. Leith is one of the most populous areas in Greater Manchester, yet there is not a single train line from Leith into the city of Manchester. You'd think there'd be one, but there isn't. So I've talked about what happened, that basically nothing happened and that Leeds got essentially a new exit to its train station, and that was about it. But before we get into why I'm so outraged about Theresa May and a deal with the DUP, because Ireland basically gets, £1 billion, basically let's discuss why the Northern Powerhouse was killed. Basically, great idea to begin with. It was chugging along. The government said, we're going to give you this much investment. So the European Union came along and said, yes, we'll give you this much investment as well to help you. China came in and said, you know what, we'll give you X amount of money as well. So there was going to be a lot of money coming into the region of the North. And remember, this is a Conservative government at the time proposing this. So this is great. Loads of investment for, loads of potential for pretty much everything from infrastructure to right through to jobs. And then, of course, Brexit happened. And of course, we left the EU. Bang goes the EU money. China goes, well, if the EU aren't in, we're not in. And then the government goes, well, we're in this time of austerity and we can't find the money to, fund the Northern Powerhouse, essentially. So it ended. Now we are told, and one of the main criticisms, by the way, of the Northern Powerhouse was that why should only one region gain all this funding? Well, the reason why was, again, as the Tories said, the idea was what would happen was that Northern Powerhouse would then fund from the, from all the investment and all the money that was going to be fed back into our economy would then be fed into another region. And then, the idea of a Midlands powerhouse or a Wales powerhouse would then come about. And then the individual areas around the UK, the areas that needed it most, the regions that needed it most would be prioritised over the ones that didn't. For basically for once meaning that London was last on the list. So this was, again, going to be a great idea. The deal with the DUP, Northern Ireland gets about £1 billion, which is going to be used for infrastructure, job creation. And yet we're told by Theresa May and a Tory government that the reason why they couldn't do the Northern Powerhouse was because, austerity, we can't find the money. So where is Theresa May going to find the money to do the Northern Powerhouse? To do, not the Northern Powerhouse, to do the, to give the money to the Northern Ireland. There must be money available then, if she can just go, here you go. This is an absolute smack in the face for pretty much everyone who lives in the North. And I've heard some people say that, the Tory government will never invest, in the northern cities where, Labour has their bases. there are numerous parts of the North that have been controlled by the Conservatives. They don't see any funding either. The North has been ignored for years, and not just by the Tories either, even by Tony Blair and the Blairite years and Gordon Brown. Right back, really, almost you have to go back really to about the 70s before you see actually any major investing of infrastructure or job creation basically around the North. So this is absolutely flabbergasting, and to be able to just do it, to justify, basically so she can prop up her majority, is absolutely, it's beyond words. It really is. And it's so frustrating because the Northern Powerhouse could have been so good for this area. And even post-Brexit, if they'd decided, okay, we're going to fund it, we're going to keep with this idea. China, they might have if they'd increased their funding ideas, then China might have been tempted to come back in and invest. And, considering how sluggish our economy is going to be, when Brexit Day finally happens, it's going to be, not even achievable then. And there's going to be no EU to come in and say, here's this, a development package, which they've been giving out to numerous regions around the UK, and were, shall we say, ignored and swept under the rug when good things about the EU were being talked about. It's just flabbergasting. It really is. It's just so stupid. And, Theresa May wonders why a lot of people in the North don't like the Tories. That the Northern Powerhouse could have been the first step to the Tories trying to win and regain seats in the North. But they won't now. I mean, go back a couple of weeks ago where I was talking about how worried Dan Jarvis was of people voting Tory in a Labour safe seat. Now, he won it handily, by the way, and, he was proven wrong about what he was saying. But it was absolutely flabbergasting. And yet you think, well, what might have happened if they'd continued with the Northern Powerhouse? I'm not saying Barnsley would have flipped, but you might have seen other areas, for example, Penistone and Skipton, which was literally a very close run thing. There was literally only like 1,000 votes between the winner and the person who came second. They might have won, the Conservatives, in that seat. But, yeah, so things in the UK will continue to be, a lot worse. But what do you think about the DUP basically being handed a massive pile of money to support Theresa May? How might that money have been able to affect your region? Because now we're being told that there's no going to be austerity measures in Northern Ireland now, but yet there's austerity for the rest of the UK. So yeah, enjoy that.